Hello, folks. Welcome back to part 4 of this tutorial. This time we're going to be talking about lists. Lists are very simple in HTML. We have 3 types of lists. We have order, unordered, and then we have definition. But as you can see on the screen, we can get very fancy with the lists with little enhancement of the styles, right? So to make this more exciting, I decided to include a little bit of styles in some of the lists, so we can make them more, more nice to look at, if you will. We use the same links on all the lists, but I'm going to go over the basics of the list of all 3, how to alternate, how to change the order, and so on, and then we'll do a few examples in CSS. So hopefully you'll like to do lists, makes them more exciting than the usual 1, 2, 3 or 3 dots or whatever. Let's do it. All right, so here we are in my desktop, and I have here brackets. I'm using a MacBook Pro M1. I'm using brackets because that's my favorite program for HTML files. Here to the left, I have Safari. I open up this window in Safari. And then underneath, I have a few samples that I've pre-typed to make this faster in the interest of time. So as you can tell, there's nothing here other than HTML head. There's nothing in the head. Body says list, and that's what displays on the Safari page. So the first thing we're going to look at is order lists, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this code in the interest of time, of course, but I'll explain each step that I'm doing. And here it is. This is a sample of ordered lists, and I put a comment here, ordered list, just so I know what it is. The title, ordered list example. There's the body. In between the body, I'm centering the word ordered list example, and I'm using a header of level 2, the second biggest header, and I'm centering it, and then I'm putting this paragraph break. So in HTML, to do ordered list, we use the command OL, like this, OL. We don't have to type a type right here. In fact, we can, I'm just gonna do this here. I can do OL, and then I can do LI, and I'm just gonna put A, B, C, D, E, F, and I'm gonna do LI 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna do another one, and I'm just gonna call it MNBGTRES. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to delete this, right? I'm going to save it, and I'm going to reload my Safari. Here's my order list example. That's this right here. And here's 1, 2, and 3. Now the default, as you can see, I didn't put any type. So the default is 1, 2, 3, and it will continue on to 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. But as you saw, there are ways to change that. Now, let's go ahead and put back what I had here. So there it is. First of all, we are able to put in the attribute type. And by default is, we have numbers, 1, 2, 3. So we can do 1, which will do the numbers. We can do the type of a capital letter A or the lowercase letter A. And if we do a capital letter A, it'll put letters A, B, and C. If we could put a lowercase letter a, it'll do the lowercase a, b, and c. The same thing with the Roman numerals, lowercase or uppercase, it'll do 1, 2, and 3. Another thing that I'm using here is the word reversed. What it means is instead of doing ABC, it's going to do CBA. That's it. It's just going to put it backwards. And in this here, I do a start. how many times we've done something and we want to do 1, 2, 3, and we do something else, and then for some reason our document goes back to a different number. Well, maybe we want to have a different start. In this case, the number 13, and I'm using the capital Roman numeral. So it'll start with the capital Roman numeral 13, which is X and 3I. So again, I can specify the type, 1 or lowercase or uppercase a, or uppercase or lowercase I. Those are the 5 types. And I have the option of doing a reverse, which does it backwards, or have a different start number. So with this said, I'll save it. Then I go to my Safari, and here is my example. The first one here, this one, is 1, 2, 3. That's the default with the numbers. The second one, the second order list, is with letters A, B, and C in this case, but they're reversed. So they're C, B, and A. Then I said do Roman numerals, but I want to start with the number 13, and then they're going to be capital. So here it is, 13, 14, and 15 in Roman capital numerals. Then I'm doing lowercase letters. There's A, B, C. And finally, I'm doing lowercase Roman numerals reversed. So there's 3, 2, and 1. Nothing out of this world. Is very simple, very easy to use. Again, the basic format is OL. We have the option of doing a type, reversed, or a start. Very simple. Now let's do unordered lists. So I'm going to erase this and do my unordered list example. Here's my, yes, this is a comment. Here's my HTML unordered list. Again, I just changed the title. Here's my new, okay. So as you can see now, you see a lot of code here. I'm gonna put it in a way that it's easier to read, which is with the li like that. The element to use is UL, unordered list, UL. And then inside we use the li for the actual elements. So because in HTML, you know, we don't have to do this which I'm doing right now. Oh, but let me, I just, I'm gonna do this right this and like this. Okay, so as you can see, I'm putting them in a little bit in order so that we can see the list the way they're supposed to look. And here they are. Okay. I'm gonna go over all this, so don't worry about what I'm doing here. I'm just typing it so that it's easier to read. That's all I'm doing. I'm gonna do that here, and I'm gonna do that like that, and like that. And before I save it, I'm gonna explain to you what I just did. Okay, so this is my first unordered list. Now, unordered list, they don't do numbers or letters or Roman numerals or anything like that. They put little dots, right? That's the one that typically use in a list, you know, like a dot. So the default for UL is this, and it'll do 3 dots. Dot milk, dot soda, you know, it's center dot, right? Center dot water. But what if you nest the list? Well, here's the 3, America, Africa, and Asia. But I'm nesting. See, there's a UL inside the LI. And I have United States, Mexico, and Canada, which are part of the continent of America. So it'll do a little open circle, I believe. And then over here, I can do the same thing, but I'm going 3 levels in, and it does a little diamond. So what you're gonna see is an ordered list with just 3 items. then it's gonna nest this one level, and this is gonna nest two levels. That's what this does. This right here is nesting once and then twice. And you'll see it on the screen over here when I hit save. Now, before I'm gonna go ahead and take this out for now. I'm gonna save it. We'll go back to that. And here is my unordered list. See, here's the three center dots. That's this right here. Milk, soda, and water. This one has continents, America, Africa, and Asia. But inside America, we have the United States, Mexico, and Canada. So I'm nesting, right? I'm doing an ordered list within the unordered list. So notice how it changes from the full covered circle to an open circle. And then what if I wanted to nest twice in? It goes to a little, I thought it was a diamond, it's a little squares. You see the little squares? So they're different. So now this is the normal thing that happens in an ordered list. And you can only go, well, you can do more than 3 levels, but if I do more, it's gonna look like this. It's not gonna change anything. That's the only 3 that are supported. Now you saw that I had this modifying it with styles. To make an ordered list, let's be a little bit more creative, if you will, to make him look a little more. This looks good, but what if we want to make him look better? So I'm gonna list style type circle. Now, what am I doing right here? Remember, the default is that dot. This here, I'm saying, look, I don't want to start with the dot. I want to start with the circle. Here, on this example here on the bottom, the last one, I'm saying, look, I want my list, but I don't want to have any circles or dots or squares. None. List style type none. So if we save it, then let's reload over here. And I'm going to increase the size of my browser, but there it is. This didn't change. Notice how the first level of my unordered list is now circles, because right here, I'm telling it list style type to circle. This one is also a list, but notice how it has nothing. That's because I'm telling it to do none. That's basic cascading, basic styles to modify the unordered list. So there you go. There's the code. Of course, we can do more than that, right? You know me, I'm gonna have to do more stuff than that. So let's do this. And now I'm getting a little fancier here. I decided, because list itself, as you saw, there's not much to it. You have this, and that. That's basically it. Now you can go and change it to circles or have no dots. But what if we want to look more creative? So I decided to include a style. Don't worry about, I have a tutorial on cascading style sheets coming up after I'm done with HTML, and I'm gonna go over so many things. There's so many things to cover, but for now, everything that we have within the style inside the head will modify one of the elements. And cascading style sheets, you can change particular elements in a particular way. In this case, I'm saying, look, if you find an unordered list, do the following. Number one, styled none. So don't put anything. Padding and margins are every single character, every single item on the screen, they have a position within a matrix, if you will, inside the screen. Well, what I'm saying is, look, don't do any margins and put whatever it is as close as it is to the, with 0 all the way to the beginning of the space. So it takes the whole space. Now I'm using this right here. It's called LI, and then you see the 2 dots right there, and then before. What I'm telling this is, for the items, the content will be this clown face. And what I did is, when I was here, I have a Mac, I just click on my little keyboard for emojis and I put that mouse. It's a Unicode, right? It's a Unicode. That's what I'm doing. I'm only doing 3 items because I want them all to look with a little clown face. So let me save it and reload the page. Now, notice how it has this here. That doesn't look like that little clown, right? The reason for that is because Safari does not, um, how should we say this? It doesn't support that. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to, I'm going to open up a uh, Microsoft Edge, which is right here. And I'm going to do this. And now this is Edge. If you use Chrome, it will work the same. Now you see the little clowns right there. All right. Let's get a little fancier than that now. Since we are already doing this, let's do better. What if I wanted different things? So let's do this. All right. Again, I'm going to go to style. Again, my style type none, padding and margins to 0. So I'm going to take the whole space of each one of the characters. But I'm using now, remember in the previous example, I used the before. Here I'm going to use the NTH child, LINTH child for the first one, the second one, and the third one. And I'm going to do obviously the colon before. So what I'm doing is I'm changing the icon that is going to display. And I have 3, the clown, a heart, and a sick blue face. I don't know what it's called. And I'm using the same example here. So I'm going to save it. And look what's going to happen. It's going to use the clown for the first item. And it's going to do the little heart for the second item and the little blue, and I can change this to any icon that I want. Now, again, I'm using Microsoft Edge because Safari does not support this. So, it's not to say anything less than Safari, but in this case, it didn't work because it doesn't support it. But anyways, this right here, this line is what does the magic to change. And of course, I have 1, 2, 3, and I can do as many. So as they show up, and this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. So the milk will have that little clown, the soda will have the heart, and so on and so forth. So now, of course, you may be asking yourself, well, what if I have more than that? Well, when you're putting this together, obviously, because this is not on the fly. This is something you design and you create, so how many list items you're going to have on your webpage. All right, so far so good. Let's do another example. And this is for the definition list. I'm going to change the subject just slightly. Definition list is the third type of order or of a list that you can do in HTML. There is no styles in here. Basically, you use the DL. DL, say it's a definition list, DL definition list. DT is the item and DD is the description. So you put a DT and a DD, a DT and a DD, and whatever's in between, you'll type it. So how's that going to look? Well, we'll use the same one here. Continents is right there. And then so you notice how I indented, and there's my definition. Indented, and there's my definition. And there's not much to do in definition list. I hardly ever use them, by the way. I use the other ones. I use order or unordered. I like both of them. The definition list is not something that I normally use, but should you do it, use it for some reason, well, that's how you do it right there. Use the DL to definition list that you're telling HTML what it is. DT is your item, and then D is your description. So definition and description. Anyways, that's how that works. When it comes to HTML for lists, that's it. There's not much to it. But what if I decided, only because, list is such a small area of HTML, I decided to go a little fancier. Now, this is not a CSS class by no means. I'm going to describe some of the major components of what I've done on the screen here, but you're going to like what you see. So what I'm doing is I'm defining a style, and I'm calling it, for T1. T1 is my main. When I'm using T1, I'm going to use a width of 400 with the margins of 0 in automatic. For the order list, see, I'm talking about order list right there. And I'm using font of Monaco from the font family of sans serif. Look at this, list style is none. See, it doesn't do image. And then I'm calling it decimal. I'm doing some font sizes as far as, it's Monaco 15 pixels. And there's margins in the bottom of 4 EM. That's the measurement that they use. In HTML, you can do pixels or EMs or you can do percentages as well. You can, there's so many things you can do. It's kind of like the colors. You can do RGBs. You can put the name. You can do the hexadecimal. You can do so many ways. And then there's this A here is because they're links. See, here's the actual list on the bottom, and I'm doing my class T1. See, when I'm doing a div, by the way, I'm telling the system, look, anything within the div will follow the rules for this class. And this class is right here. This whole thing here is my class. Now, this is an order list. Here's my my items, my LIs, right? But you notice that I have a link, ahref, and then there's a target blank, and then but basically CNN, Fox News, and all that. So I can do this like that big and a little bigger. So this is my class T1. These are my links, and of course my they're inside within a list, an order list. And over here again, I'm telling it for the positions. I'm doing background colors, decorations, and things like that. I'm not gonna go over all of them because this is not a CSS class, but I want you to see the results. This is more of check this out kind of thing, right? So that's what that looks like. When you do this, this is what it looks like. And I can click on any of these. See, it goes to that web page. That blank, target blank, it makes it new. Notice that when I clicked on one of these, it changes the size. So it knows what to do. That is the first custom list. And there's the code on the screen so you can see it. You can copy and paste it. It looks pretty nice. Let's do a different style. I'm gonna delete all this. Again, I'm changing basically what this is gonna look like. This is my order list. This is my my links. When I hover over it, remember it made the this bar make big, this little rectangle look bigger, increase in size as a hover. That before and all of these numbers, they're affecting the list, what it does. And so let's go ahead and save this, and let's look what this one looks like. And basically very similar. See how I'm going when I move my mouse over the list, it increases the size, so you can tell which one I'm selecting. And if I click on it, boom, there it is. Very, very fancy, right? It looks pretty cool. And all I'm doing is some styles on the list. Let's do another one. So I'm doing another one here. I'm gonna save it. Look what this one does. See? When I hover over you, I don't know if you noticed, but look how the color changes. See, it changes the color. And of course, it'll open up the link. Again, here's my LIs, my links, my befores. all of these items, and CSS is so extensive. You know, here's my color, like here, color yellows because I made that color yellow. I made the buttons blue. All of this tells this when I select class T1, do it like this. Um, let's do this one here. It's a third one. And I'm going to delete and paste. This one is the one I like the most. It makes so many changes. It is using transformation. You see this rotate right here, negative 20 degrees and negative 5, 0. Okay, all of these things here, what it's doing, look at the result. Believe it or not, these three, and notice when I put my mouse over, see the little, it changes right here in the color. It's all done by this style. This makes this look like this. And I'm pretty sure you can agree. You know, let's, I'm gonna get out of this div right here. I'm gonna get out of this and I'm gonna copy this. And yeah, don't worry about how it looks. Yeah, I'm just gonna make it look prettier only for this. So here's my order list, and I'm gonna put a little paragraph in between. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna go over here and refresh it. And there's a big difference between this and this. This is your regular order list. See, there's the 1, 2, 3, click here for this, click here for that, click this for that, or this. Which one would you rather use? You know, pretty fancy. Now, let's say I want it, look what I'm gonna do here. Well, actually, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna copy, see this right here for says T1. And I'm gonna go to that and I'm gonna X that. And I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna increase this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna change that to 2. This is all I'm doing. And this over here, I'm gonna put in a paragraph and I'm gonna change that to a 2. So what am I doing? Well, check it out. I'm gonna refresh and now I'm gonna, I think I need, yeah. So I'm using T1s and T2s and I have them over here separated by T1 and T2. They're working, oh, here it is. This one here should be at 2 as well. Yeah, a little error there, how embarrassing, but pardon it. There we go, much better. What a little, I had T2, L1, then I have a comma there, and I should have done T2 as well, and I had T1 because I just copy and paste. But now this code looks like, wow, look at all this, everything in between the style. Look at all that code, but I actually have 2 codes, the T1s and the T2s, and here are my list in the bottom. Again, what do you want to do? This one, or this one? See, you can have multiple on the same web page. Anyways, that concludes this tutorial on lists. I'm leaving the code on the screen so that you can you can type it if you want to copy and paste it. I encourage you to go to my WordPress document, the original document where I normally put my videos, and in there I go more in. Well, I go in depth with the without the CSS because I'm only doing HTML, but the code is right there as well on my WordPress document. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe. It encourages me to do more of these videos. Until next time, thank you.